Well, I mean, if you compare her to Harry and Meghan, I would say that one thing that stands out to me is that she's a class act. She may not have been born a princess, but she certainly is a princess of the people. And Harry may have been born a prince, but he's behaving like a cretin. So I think she's winning. I think the king is winning. I think she's winning. And I think that the Meghan and Harry need to either rejoin the game or shut up. All I would say, having known and met Kate and seen her at work at close quarters, is this is a thoroughly decent young woman, mum of three, who really cares about her family, and she serves the crown with such style and authenticity that I don't think that she even thinks about all those things that Owen is writing about. I think that she just gets on with the job. You see her with kids; she's perfectly natural. They really warm to her. Some of them don't even know she is. They just know she's someone famous. Yet she spends so much time with the mums and the kids. She's a genuine person. I think she's a credit not only to the royal family but to the Middleton family and the Goldfish family that she housed. And she's one of the main stars of the royal family, as we see the working royals. I find all that nonsense as well. She's one of the stars. And the king knows that. The king acknowledges that. Wherever he goes, he calls her his beloved daughter-in-law. Coming into this world is slightly mad. You've got all the officers talking in riddles. It's a very military organisation. The royal family is very, very. The establishment is right at the heart of it all. And so to come into that like Kate has done, very difficult, and yet she's done it with such style and grace and such humility. And I think that's why I feel some of the things that have been said about her are frankly absurd. When I saw some of the claims that are made in the Scobie book and some of the things that were made revealed as the truth by of the people involved, I just think they must have been completely misinterpreted. It saddens me to think that people could even in any way interpret Catherine to be anything other than a decent, loving human being. I think they were weasel words. I mean, maybe he's simply reflecting what his paymasters want him to reflect, or whether he's trying to double guess Meghan, I don't know. But maybe she was cold to Meghan, and maybe Meghan misinterpreted that coldness. I don't know. But clearly there is a friction there. I wrote in my book, Our King, that Kate found it one of the hardest things she had to do was to join them on the walkabout after the death of her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth. And that must have been tough for her to do after her husband had been attacked in the way that he'd been attacked. And so, yeah, I don't think. But who says? Where is it written that you've got to like your sister-in-law? I don't know. We've got Christmas coming up. I'm sure there'll be a few sister-in-laws thinking, Christ, I don't want to spend any time with her family. Nobody's perfect, and nobody's saying that she's perfect. But I don't think she's a cold person. She keeps it together. I mean, we all talk about Carol, her mum, being this sort of upfront person. But look at her dad. Her dad is a very great man. I mean, Michael, when he walked down the aisle, he must have been feeling incredibly nervous when he did that with his daughter at the wedding of the century. Yeah, he did it with such aplomb. He looks immaculate, didn't he? And he's an understated guy. He worked for British Airways, senior position. He comes from, he's a good tennis player. He went to a good, I think, public school in Bristol. He's a pretty sound chap, but he must have been nervous as hell. But he kept it together. And I think that's what you must say about Catherine. She may not be the most glamorous person. She's not necessarily, I mean, everyone's eyes were on Pippa's bum, I think, on the day of the wedding. But, let's be honest, they're both, Kate's a class act. And I think that's, what I think she is. I mean, she certainly is a princess of the people, if not the people's princess. The bottom line is they learned to not follow the rules, but to embrace what was expected of them by the people, as well as by the household and the royal family, but mainly by the people. And I think that matters more. than being you're not a star. You're not. I mean, I think this is something perhaps Meghan misunderstood. You're not a star. You're not better than anybody else. You're not the main event. You're just part of the whole rich tapestry. Shakespeare wrote, didn't he, that all the world's a stage. And what we're seeing with the royal family is a performance. And yes, they may have the lead role, but so did the people. But the people that used to go to the Globe when it was, originally, that they took part in the whole theatre, the whole experience. So, it's a game. It's a game, really, and of which I play a small part as well. But it's a game, and I think that you have to embrace that challenge and not feel in any way you're above anybody or below anybody. You're just part of the game. So I think she's winning. And I think the king is winning. I think she's winning, and I think that the Meghan and Harry need to either rejoin the game or shut up. Well, I mean, if you compare her to Harry and Meghan, I would say that one thing that stands out to me is that she's a class act. She may not have been born a princess, but she certainly is a princess of the people. And Harry may have been born a prince, but he's behaving like a cretin, and he's behaving like somebody who really has lost touch with reality. I mean, he's a very fine soldier and very respected by his men as a captain in Wales. And I have nothing but great things to say to him about him in terms of the Invictus Games. What he's achieved now is really quite something special. But if you're born a prince, you should behave like a prince. He's behaving like somebody that's lost his way. And Meghan, she's a very clever girl, very reasonable actress. She's showing no class whatsoever. She's letting herself down and her family, but she doesn't seem to care too much about her own family. I think they should look at Kate Middleton, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and realise that there is somebody there that doesn't deserve the criticism that's been thrown at them by Mr. Scobie in his book, which has been linked to them. And if they had any good grace or good sense, they would totally distance themselves if they can, which I think is the crucial bit here. If they can, if there's no paper trail to them and Scobie, then they should speak out against Mr. Scobie, because if it is his interpretation and he's entitled to it, it needs to be known as his interpretation and not something that can be linked to Harry and Meghan. Catherine will just keep calm and carry on. She'll do what the old Duke of Edinburgh, who I think was an incredible man. He may have been related to Queen Victoria, just the same as the Queen, but when he came into the royal family, married into the royal family, he was pretty much a pauper. He didn't have, and he had all the snobs and all the military morons having a go at him, and all these people picking on him. But he used to just say one thing and one thing only, and I think he was a great man, and we should never forget what a great man he was. Get on with it. Just get on with it.